Title: The Billionaire's Secret Letter. Chapter 1. A Man Made of Walls. Once, in a towering glass building that kissed the clouds, lived a man named Nathaniel Crosser Billionaire, built by his own hands. Tech mogul. Investor. Untouchable. They called him the Ice King. And not just because of his sharp suits and cold gaze. Nathaniel had mastered the art of business but had long forgotten the art of love. He had everything, they said. But even the finest wine tastes bitter when sipped alone. Chapter 2. A Letter in the Wind. On a stormy Thursday evening, Nathaniel sat by the window of his office. Overlooking the city he ruled. His assistant brought in the mail, most of it unopened. Except for one envelope, aged and wrinkled, with no return address. Handwritten. Odd. He opened it. To the one who forgot how to feel. You once smiled at me. Just once. And it changed my life. A stranger who remembers. It was unsigned. Mysterious. Intriguing. And for the first time in years, Nathaniel felt curious. Chapter 3. The Girl with Paint on Her Shoes. Determined to uncover the identity behind the letter, Nathaniel revisited the public art center he once funded years ago. That was the only time. He remembered smiling in public, the day they unveiled a mural of hope in the city's poorest district. And there, by the steps, stood a woman with paint on her hands and a streak across her cheek. She was laughing, surrounded by children, unaware that the most powerful man in the city was watching. Her name was Lila Gray. Chapter 4. Opposite worlds collide. Layla was sunshine to Nathaniel's storm, carefree, passionate, and beautifully chaotic. She remembered him immediately. "I didn't think you'd ever come back," she said, brushing a curl from her eyes. "Neither did I," he replied. She had no interest in money, only people. Nathaniel found himself returning day after day, pretending he was just passing by. But slowly her laughter chipped away at his ice. Chapter 5. The Second Letter. Another letter arrived at his penthouse. "You're getting closer. She's the one who made you human again. But will you be brave enough to love her, without your empire standing between you?" He showed it to Lila. "Do you know anything about this?" he asked. She shook her head, but there was a flicker in her eyes. Something hidden. Chapter 6. A Life Without Labels. They spent quiet evenings painting walls, sharing secrets under city lights. Nathaniel, for the first time, introduced himself without a title. "I want to know who I am when I'm not a billionaire," he told her. "Then start here," she said, placing his hand on her chest over her heart. "With someone who sees you, not your bank account." And he did. Chapter 7. When everything crashes. News broke. Nathaniel's competitors exposed a decade-old scandal in his company, one he had no part in, but one that would cost him everything. Overnight, stocks fell. Board members turned. Investors fled. He went from billionaire to bankrupt. And when he returned to the art center, Lila was gone. All that remained was a note. "I didn't fall for your fortune, Nathaniel. I fell for your heart. But there's something I never told you. And now I'm afraid it's too late." Chapter 8. The Search. He searched every corner of the city. No trace of Lila. He remembered the children she loved, the old man at the mural, the street vendor who sold them coffee. Each gave him clues. "She spoke of you every day," one said. "She said you'd have to lose everything to find what truly matters." Eventually he found her. Not in the city but in a quiet coastal town, painting a mural on an orphanage wall. Chapter 9. The Truth Behind the Letters. They stood face to face again. "Why did you disappear?" he asked. She took a deep breath. "Because I was the one who wrote those letters." He stared in shock. But how? You smiled at me 10 years ago. Just once. And I promised myself, if you ever returned, I'd remind you that you're more than money. I wanted you to find love as a man, not a billionaire. And I did, he whispered. Chapter 10. The twist ending. 1 year later, the headlines read, Nathaniel Cross turns down fortune builds art schools across the country. He had rebuilt not his empire, but his purpose. And beside him, always, was Lila. But here's the twist, dear reader. It was revealed that Lila Gray was not just a painter. She was the anonymous benefactor behind the Children's Art Fund, a secret heiress to an old publishing fortune. She had walked away from her own riches to live simply and truthfully. In the end, it was never about wealth. It was about two people choosing love over legacy. And in their little beachside home, where laughter echoed louder than ambition, they proved that the richest hearts don't live in towers. They bloom in letters. And in love, the end.